Hey guys, this is Chad Joyce with Plum Real Estate and welcome to another edition of Foreclosure Friday. We are in Lewisville, Texas today. We're going to visit the home right behind us here. This is a VA property. The address of this home is 1538 Summerwind in Lewisville, Texas. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 1,243 square feet, and the current list price on this one is $272,000. I don't have much info on it, but you know, we're kind of checking this one out because this is one of the lower priced homes in Lewisville. This could be a good opportunity for a homeowner to get into something that, maybe you have to put a little sweat equity into, or maybe an investor's looking for a new rental property or something like that. Right now, fix and flips really aren't on the menu for anybody. Prices are falling. This is a buyer's market, but there are opportunities still for homeowners looking to get in with a lower purchase price and investors looking to add to their rental portfolio. So let's go on in, let's check this one out, and let's see what we find. All right, here we go. I don't know if we have any power on here. Let's see if any of these light. Well, we do have some power because we see the ceiling fan going. I don't know if we have any. Got a couple of lights. Well, I brought the flashlight so we can have a look. Again, lucky you guys don't have a YouTube scratch and sniff, but you can see all the carpet was pulled out of this house. We got a heavy pet odor in here. So not sure what the issue was, but you can see, when you start seeing things like this, little markups on the wall and things like that, a lot of times this is done from pets, or if people are just extra dirty, don't clean the house up. But I'll show you on the back door because I saw this when I came in. This is a sign of a house with pets. You see right here, those are from dogs who are jumping up on the back door, and also over here, you can see how the trim has been, worn down, and then also look at right here. So, we have evidence of dogs, so there is a little bit of an odor. They probably took the carpet out of this one, and that's also one reason why they probably had the ceiling fan going, because it probably just stunk to high heavens. So let's go on and let's see what we got the rest of here. Again, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Obviously the home's going to need some cleaning, and this is a little concerning right here. Right in the middle of the house, we do have some settlement, and you do have a tile that has popped off. I know that these little black spotches kind of look like mold or damage, but that's the actual tile design, which is really horrific. But again, it's a late 1970s, early 1980s build, so that's pretty normal. And you can see that with the design, like above here, this is how they used to do open floor plans. They'd put a wall in here to separate the living area from the kitchen and dining area. And then they'd open up above it so you get some airflow. So here's the dining area, 12 by 12 tile. I bet you if you wanted to clean that off, you'd probably keep it, but I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't keep it. I'd tear it all out. Got an old light fixture. I wonder if any of these lights are going to come on for me. Oh, we got some. Good. Okay. Here's the kitchen. Again, older, property over 40 years old, so you got the narrow kitchen. This appears to be some sort of corner and countertop here. They do have the original cabinets, which I know these look absolutely disgusting. Let's see if they're damaged. Well, yeah, you got some damage in there. But the insides are nice and clean. This would be I mean, they're cheaper cabinets, but you could stain these and repaint them and make them look really nice. Put some new hardware on it, and you really change everything up. That would be a lot cheaper than replacing all the cabinets. I would replace the oven and the microwave. That microwave, good God, that thing's old. And I'd replace these countertops because I don't think they're in good shape. Looks like the prior owners tried to do some texturing in here. Not necessarily the best, but maybe if you can get that repainted, you can get some of that. Now you can see like up here, I don't know if you can really pull it in. I'm gonna try to zoom in with the camera. You see a little bit of a separation here. We are in one of Lewisville's biggest subdivisions. It's called Lewisville Valley. And, homes that are 40 to 50 years old, you're gonna see settlement cracks. Like that's just gonna happen. You can see like right up there, you can see some settlement issues there. And right here, there's a little bit, doesn't really come through the camera, but I would definitely have someone, like here's another spot, definitely have a foundation company come out and look at it. So you can see right there, little crack on the ceiling. I'm not seeing any water leaks right now, so hopefully that means that the ceiling's in pretty decent, or roof's in decent shape. But you definitely need carpet, paint, flooring, all that stuff. Probably get some light fixtures. Again, they pulled out all the trim. Well, they pulled out all the carpet and some of the trim. This is not in the best shape. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Again, original carpeting. You got the vinyl. Want to replace that flooring. Probably replace the toilet. Shower has been retiled at some point, but I don't think anyone would want to keep this. I mean, you got mess there, and the soap dispenser, the soap bar is all destroyed. So I don't think I would recommend someone redoing that. Replacing all the doors in the house as well. This looks to be a very functional floor plan, though, albeit, we do have a lot of damage. I don't know what that's disgusting. I don't even want to know what that is. That looks like some sort of caramel bar. I don't know. That's gross. I don't even want to know what that is. Look, it's over here too. This has got to be some sort of food residue. That's gross. Like a peanut butter chew thing or something. I don't know. It doesn't smell. At least that doesn't. Maybe this is where they kept the dog, and the dog was in here just chewing up everything. Which, look, it's right here. I wouldn't be surprised that this was kind of the dog's playroom, and they gave him peanut butter, or her peanut butter, and came in here. Now, the one nice thing about having carpet pulled up is you can look at the slab and you can see, hey, this is pretty solid slab. We're not seeing big cracks in here, which is excellent news. We are seeing settlement, but there we go. Good light works on this one. But we're not seeing major cracks in the actual slab, which means if there's any adjustments that need to be done, it's probably going to be done on the outside. And we'll check the front and the back to see if maybe anything was done already, but it's not going to be major interior piers. Looks like they did do something happened here where they repaired the ceiling. So maybe that was a prior roof repair. You can see a little bit of paint there. Again, we're still talking about cosmetic, light fixtures, carpet, trim, paint, doors, things like that. I'm not seeing the major cracks. Now, I mean, you can see like right here, see that little crack going through there. That's just a normal settlement crack. And again, for a house of this age, that's really not that bad. So this is the primary bedroom. You can see up here, right there, there's a settlement crack. And there's definite movement as I'm walking up. But this kind of gives you an idea of what a slab would look like. You can see there's some movement there underneath, the signs of settling that show up in the house. So There's really not too much. There's a little bit there. There's another sign of settling. But there's not much in the slab. The only issue in the slab is coming through right here, which is a little hard to see. There's the crack, the minor one. This is glue that was holding the carpet down. So when they rip that out, that stays on in. So it is a little bit minor settling. Again, I'd have someone come out and look at it. Here's our primary bathroom. Again, they had the same countertops as the kitchen. Again, I think you can save these cabinets by repainting them, putting new hinges on them, new door hardware. The vinyl needs to be changed. I'm not sure what died here, but that's not good. That's just dirty. Have to replace all that. And again, the same bathroom as the other bathroom. So it's very similar, same toilet. You know, I'd replace pretty much all of this. And there is, you can see right here, there is another settlement issue. So let's go out to the front real quick and see if we see any prior foundation work, and then also go to the backyard. All right. Now the reason I came out here is because we do have an extended patio, and you can see right here, that's a pier that was put into underneath the house. There was one there. There's one there. These are all evidence of foundation repairs. There's one there. And also when you see the dirt that's a little bit higher along the slab here, that's probably dirt that got pushed back up from foundation, or that's possible. There's a couple other reasons that may happen as well, but just something to look at. Again, there's another one. So yeah, there's definitely been piers done on here. You know, one bad thing, you see all these bushes. You know, these bushes all need to be cut out. These bushes just suck up water. The roots on these things go underneath your foundation. They absorb water and cause the soil to move. So I would cut all these out, pull them all out until they're far away like this tree is. And these bushes are okay over here. But anything that's right up to the, you know, really close to the slab, man, you just don't want those in there. So if that's something you got at your house, you know, take into consideration that those roots are going underneath your slab and they're soaking up all the moisture and causing your slab to move. So let's go look in the backyard here. Yeah, definite dogs, man. Walk straight on through. We can get to the backyard here. Looks like the back patio was redone here. Looks like there used to be a portico or a pergola or something right here. That's what these holes are from. That's where the post used to be. So it's something if you wanted to build, you could probably add in pretty quickly. The deck's actually not in bad shape. You know, there were some repairs done here. The back patio, the stonework back there, you can see over here how that's all damaged. You know, I would recommend, I guess, putting in concrete. And here's where you need to also look at showing signs of movement. When your foundation's popping out like that, you get a lot of erosion like that. That's going to cause movement. And if you remember, this is where we were in the primary bedroom where we saw the most movement was right here over this, and that makes perfect sense. If there's a lot of erosion right there, it's going to cause movement in the house. Looking up at the roof, with not being a roofer, I mean, I'm not seeing any missing shingles or anything like that. We are seeing a lot of missing granules, though. I would suspect this roof probably does need to replace. You can kind of see right there some of those missing granules. And while we didn't see any leaks on the inside of the house, just just seeing that probably tells me it's not going to pass a foundation, or not a foundation, an insurance inspection. You can see the rest of the backyard. You do have a storage shed back here. The fence is a little old. Do have a nice tree here, which I'm always in favor of saving the trees. Give you nice shade. I would remove that shed, and you probably have to replace probably a good, at least from here on the fence all the way over to where it connects to your neighbor's fence. You do have shared fencing here. So if you decide to go this way, that's the part that you would only be responsible for. And then when it connects back there, coming all the way up here, that's shared fencing, and then there's the separation going to the front yard. So, that's this one. It does need quite a bit of work, but for $272,000, this may be something to look at. Let's go back to the office and check out the numbers and see if this is a good deal or not. All right, guys, we're back in the office here, and we're going to have a look at 1538 Summerwind. Let's go ahead and pull up some of this basic info that we got. Now, remember, this is a VA property, and we're going to go over some of the options that you can do with VA homes right now. They have on this property what's called a VA vending loan, which everybody is eligible for it, including non-veterans, normal homeowners, and investors. And it's a good opportunity to get into a home with little to no down payment, and be able to fix it up and get a competitive interest rate. So we'll go over that here in a little bit. But here we are. As you can see right now, our list price is $272,000. It's a 3-bed right here, 2-bath, 1,243 square feet, built in 1985. All right, so that's the property. And you can see also down here, we've only been on the market 3 days. So this is a brand new listing. It's just come on the market. And like I said, while we're out the house, the neighborhood that this is in is Lewisville Valley, which is one of the larger neighborhoods in Lewisville. Homes started being built there in the early 70s, went to the late 80s. So you're talking about a 15-year build period. So what I did is I went out to the community and I said, I'm going to look at all the active properties. That's all over here. We'll look at all the pendings for the last 90 days and then the sales for the last 90 days. So that's the sales for the last 3 months. We're looking in Lewisville Valley. And since there's such a wide range, a lot of times when you get into these communities, I won't put in a year built. But since there's such a wide range, and this home was built in 1985, I'd put 1980 to 1990. So let's see what we can find. And as you can see right down here, it tells us we got 36 matches. So should be plenty to find the property or good comparables. So as you can see, the property we looked at, it's $272,000. It's the cheapest house in the neighborhood by almost $50,000. The next cheapest is over on Clydesdale. Basically the similar house for $320,000. A little bit smaller lot. And as you can see, we have 3 pending that are all bigger. And I already clicked these. These are the same floor plan. And they sold for $318,000 and $335,000. I would say right now, the value of the house, this is where it gets weird. The home can appraise for $335,000 because there was a house that sold for $335,000. Same floor plan, you can make the argument. The value of the house is probably $318,000, which falls in line with what this Clydesdale property right here is doing at $320,000. So that's showing you it's a buyer's market. Prices are coming down. So, for these purposes, I've got our spreadsheet, which we'll go over here in a second. I'm going to put the value at $335,000 because that's what we can use on paper. And, that way, if you're an owner occupant, you got that to work towards because you're not going to sell it right away. And if you're an investor, you can use that higher appraised value to justify a higher, a better loan to value ratio. Or not ratio, but loan amount. So let's look real quick. I'll pull up my spreadsheet and you can see what I've got. We got all the information over here. I put the ARV at $335,000. And now what I'm doing is I'm setting our purchase price at $242. Now it's listed at $272. Again, it's a buyer's market. I'd throw it out there, see what they say. I don't expect that would get taken, but you never know. Cosmetic repairs, which is to repair everything on the inside, I put at $35 a square foot. I put $5,000 for the foundation because I think it doesn't need too much, needs a little bit, and then I put $8,000 for a roof. So that gives us a total of $56,505. Scrolling down, here's where something also becomes interesting. We've gone over tax rates before. The tax assessed value on this house is $317,133. The neat thing about that area of Lewisville, it has some of the lowest taxes in the Metroplex, and there's no HOA. So the tax rate there is 1.7281%. Makes things very affordable. But also, and we'll come back to this, if you buy the house at $242, you can go into the tax assessor the next year and say, hey, this house is worth $242. Doesn't matter how much work you put into it or what you did to it afterwards. You can present the HUD sheet and say, look, I bought this for $242, and that's what they got to assess it at. Now, the following year, they're probably going to jump you up, especially if you're an investor. But if you're an owner-occupant, they can only raise that 10% a year. So that's a little trick to get some of those taxes down. If we go over to look at, how everything worked out, our acquisition, if we buy it at $242 and we have all our closing costs, this is assuming a cash transaction, so makes it a little bit easier. Total cost is a little bit over $300,000. If you went to sell it, you could possibly make, again, if this is just truly cash and you don't have a loan or anything to pay and you're not paying all these extra fees on top of it, you could possibly make $16,000 on this house. It gives you an ROI of 5.4%. It's kind of it is risky. It's not something that you would want to do. And right now, with the market the way it is, really, if you're an investor, you should really be looking just for buy and hold properties. Delinquency rates in the Metroplex are rising, which means there's going to be more renters coming your way. There's going to be higher demand over the next 6 to 36 months. If you're an owner-occupant, prices may come down a little bit, but they're not going to come down much off a $272,000 house. You're really talking about one of the cheaper homes in the Metroplex, especially in Denton County, and especially in Lewisville. So, that's not really a reason to wait unless if you like the house. If you don't like the house, then obviously we don't buy it. Now going over, let's go look at our rental rates, which I pulled up using the same criteria. And what you can see is there is a wide range of rental rates. We have this one leased at $2,500, this one that leased at $2,595. Here's $2,225. I think those rental rates are a little low. One thing to consider is looking at housing authorities. That area is handled, we'll click over here, is the Denton Housing Authority. Here's the website up here at the top. Give you a little arrow. I can't draw. But you can look up the Denton Housing Authority. You can scroll down to the bottom of their page, okay? And as a participant, you can look at this form. This is what you're going to be looking for. Payment Standards 2025. Okay? I pulled that up, and what I did is I looked at our zip code that this house is in, which is 75077, and we looked at a 3-bedroom house, which is $2,770. That's what a landlord would be looking for, and that's what I put in here. So I put in on the rent, you can see right here, $2,770. If you do that, and if you got a 75% LTV, you're basically breaking even. You're getting $136 a month. But what you're really buying this property for is the depreciation, the tax benefits, and the appreciation of the home. If you're getting a housing voucher, and if you qualify your tenants well, keep that in mind. You don't want the tenant tearing up the property. That's guaranteed money. They're going to pay you that every month, and you're not going to have to hound that down. It's a good thing to have. So
Plus, you can also get a 75% LTV, okay? Which gives you that payment. And if we go back over here, let's say we are able to reduce our taxes. Okay, so I just reduced the taxes. You can see right there, the tax assessed value, which dropped the taxes from, they were $5,480 to $4,182. You're talking about a $100 drop a month. So now you're making $244 a month. You see right there, okay, which is even better. Now here's the one neat thing. This is a VA program, or a VA house, which means it's owned by the Veterans Administration. So it was a VA loan that was on the home, got foreclosed on, it got turned into the Veterans Association Administration, and they're selling it. They've started programs called, you can see it right here, the VA Lendy program, or Vendy program, loan program, okay? Now what this loan does, it gives you a lot of benefits, all right? We're talking about there's little to no money down, there's no private mortgage insurance, no MIP. MIP is with FHA loans. And also, here's the neat thing. It's for veterans, non-veterans, owner-occupants, and investors. And they have competitive interest rates. I'm putting the interest rate at what a conventional loan is doing right now, about 8%. If you can get a lower interest rate, let's say you go back over here to this house, and you can go through this VA Vendy program. You have low down payment, low money down. You put the cash into the home, okay? So let's say you buy it at $242. There's very little closing costs, origination fees, like you can see over here. Go to it. Here's the other thing. Origination and funding fees can be rolled into the loan. There's no mortgage insurance. There's no prepayment penalties. Like they're doing everything they can to try to keep your closing costs down to get people into a house. If you buy it at $242 and it appraises at $335, you can get a loan on that house of $251 right there, which is more than what you paid for it. So you can buy this house as an investor, pay some closing costs, repair it, pull all your money back out that you repaired it, and do this. And let's say you can get it at a 7.25% interest rate. Now you're looking at $374 a month if you go to the housing authority. This is the ideal situation if you are an investor. If you can buy the house, you can do the repairs on your own, you can refinance out and get all your repair money back. You've basically been given a free home with, at this point, 25% equity. And you can rent it out. You should be doing this all day long. So, again, I think it's a good home if you're going to be an owner-occupant, because, again, you're going to get into the home. If you're an owner-occupant, you'll get into it at $300,000, a little bit over $300,000. Market value is $335. If you're an investor and you go this route and you get that VA, the Vendy loan, again, let me talk about it again, the Vendy loan program, and you can find this information. Here's the website, it's up here, vrmproperties.com/content/Vendy-financing. You can go get that information on those loan programs. It makes it worthwhile to do these programs, and you can put it on a housing authority that guarantees you income. And if you pick your tenants right, which that's always the tricky thing with investments in rental properties, you have to have the right tenants. You'll be given 25% equity. You'll be getting monthly income. You'll be getting depreciation. You'll be getting tax write-offs, and you'll be getting appreciation. That's what you want to do. So if you're an investor, let's look at this property. If you're an owner-occupant, let's look at this property. Like we need to check this one out.
Whew. Okay, so I usually do my final thoughts from inside the house, but I couldn't do it in there anymore. I'm pretty sure I've gotten bit by some sort of fleas or bugs, so I'm going to have to go back and clean all that stuff off. But I hope you enjoyed the tour. That's an interesting property. I hope maybe there's some options here that would be beneficial for you. But, you know, even if they're not, this is an example of what's actually out there on the market. And there are options and opportunities with every house. And there are ways to either get into a home as an owner-occupant with some equity, and as an investor with ways that can make money. So, if that's something that you're interested in, something you're looking forward to, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is below. Make sure you hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our other content. We do Touring Tuesdays every Tuesday. We do Foreclosure Fridays every Friday. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.